You're watching The Ugly Inside. Subscribe below.
Welcome to our big match preview as Saints prepare to take on Tottenham at home after Christmas. No traditional Boxing Day fixtures for both of us, but after a few days, hopefully the boys haven't overindulged in Christmas turkey and mulled wine. But to help me look ahead to Wednesday night's game, I'm joined by Flav from the Spurs podcast, The Fighting Cock, and also seen on Ball Street. Thanks for joining, mate. How are you?
Very well, Freddie. How you doing, mate? Looking forward to Christmas?
Not too bad. I'm looking forward to the game more so.
I can't wait for Southampton to ruin my Christmas time.
Well, we've done it to a North London club last season.
Yeah, you did. It was an amazing day. 4-0, wasn't it?
Let's talk about the game then, mate. Truth be told, Spurs away form hasn't been the greatest recently, and that's where you've been dropping points. How are you feeling going into this game on Wednesday?
I feel confident because we've got 9 days rest, essentially, which is such a rare thing, certainly around Christmas, to be able to get away with not playing on Boxing Day and play a few days later due to kind of the TV schedule. We're kind of, both of us are benefiting from it. And I truly think that our first 11 fully fit is a tough match for anybody, but I think it's actually good enough to win the league, like we potentially could have done last season. So we are still a very good team. We've finally got our first 11 back. We're just waiting for Lamela. 9 days rest, 9 days of Pochettino thinking about how you lot are going to set up. I think I'm quite confident going into it. We're coming off the back of 2 wins. We beat Hull, which was a bit of a stroll in the park. Hull didn't offer anything. They were pretty bad. And then Burnley, which is a little bit more competitive, but over the 90 minutes, we should have beaten much more handsomely than 2-1. So Spurs are still a very good team, despite some of the kind of abject performances this year. Like I say, I'll be quite positive going into this game.
Of course, there's a few connections. Obviously, this summer we spoke just so they're on the brink of Wanyama joining you. So how has he been settling into life at White Hart Lane, and is he likely to start on Wednesday?
Yeah. So my feeling was that he was a squad player or he wasn't going to bank to start every single game. I thought Dyer would go in above him, but Dyer picked up a little injury. Wanyama was suspended, if I remember rightly. Wanyama came in and started like a house on fire. He was dominant in midfield. He was winning tackles for fun. Everything you knew about him, but to see him week in, week out for 90 minutes, you can appreciate a player so much more when you get to do that. And my opinions of Wanyama, while I rated him, I wasn't excited to have him at the club. I was kind of like, this is a pragmatic signing. It was something that we needed bodies in midfield. But he's come in and he's done a fantastic job. He's not the greatest on the ball, as you probably well know. He isn't much of a footballer, but he's improving slowly. But what he does off the ball and winning the ball back is kind of crucial. So we've got kind of like two players that can play in that role in Dyer and Wanyama, but Wanyama is very much favoured by Pochettino. So for 11 million, he's the enforcer that perhaps Dyer isn't. Yeah, I've been really, really impressed with Wanyama. He's dropped off a little bit in recent weeks, but I think out of everybody at Spurs, he's one of our standout performers, apart from our fullbacks.
And one thing I'm really looking forward to actually in the game is going to be Oriol Romeu versus Wanyama. Obviously, Romeu was in the shadow of Wanyama last season. Those are all the skills that you said listed. That's how we came to love Wanyama last season in a few years as well. But sort of moving up a bit in midfield, Eriksen's finally smashing the goals for you guys. In the absence of Kane over the last sort of few weeks. What can we expect from these two on Wednesday? And are there any injury problems with Kane at the moment?
No, none. Not at all. We haven't got any injury problems at all, apart from Janssen up front. And some would argue that isn't a problem, the fact that he's injured. So, yeah, no issue with Kane. Eriksen has been scoring goals. He again, admittedly against lesser teams. So, he scored against Hull. He got goals against Spartak. CSKA Moscow as well. So, Eriksen divides opinion at Tottenham. I rate him highly. I mean, he can damage people on his day, but does go missing often and is prone to be consistent with the amount of mistakes he makes in a game. So, but he is in form at the moment. Kane is Harry Kane. He will always score goals. He's been asked to do quite a lot off the ball. And a lot of plays going through him. So while he hasn't scored that many since in the last few games, he hasn't been on the score sheet in the last 3. I think he's always going to be a danger, and we're so much better with him in the team. So yeah, you're going to have to deal with Harry Kane, and you're going to have to deal with Eriksen, Ali, and probably Lamela might come back as well. But then we've also got Son, who can play there in that free behind the one.
I mean, let's talk about our style of play then. We play a lot of possession. I'm not sure how much you've watched us recently. But you've been one of the best defences in the league, and it's going to be tough to break it down. So what in particular can we do to break your defence down?
Yeah, I mean, putting pressure on Carl Walker and Danny Rose and our defence is the way to break Spurs down, force us to make mistakes. Like you said, we are pretty sound defensively. There's only a few periods in specific games where we've looked a little bit shaky at the back, Chelsea being one of those. But we were kind of chasing the game at that in trying to ensure we didn't make mistakes, and there was too much. It was kind of we've been precise in and overthinking our play somewhat. So I mean, Southampton, how I'd set up is if high pressure, try and allow Spurs to have possession at the back. Pochettino is almost obsessed with Lloris playing football and our defence playing football amongst them. And the times when we look most vulnerable is when we make mistakes in our final third. If I was a Southampton manager, I'd be going, let's go out and get them. Don't give them any time to play and see what happens. So that would be how you do it.
So with that being said, mate, let's have a score prediction.
I think 2-0 Spurs. Sorry, mate.
Hopefully that's not a repeat of last year, but that's it from us. Hopefully Santa brings Saints another Christmas present following the Bournemouth victory. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Flav, thanks for joining me, mate.
All right, cheers, mate. Have a good Christmas.
And don't forget to check out the Fighting Cock Spurs podcast. If you haven't already, do subscribe to Ball Street, where you can check out Flav's flagship Friday night show, Talking Balls. It's a great show. Check that out. And as always, if you've liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more.
Cheers, Fred.